What is up, and welcome back to the Dan's Golf World Show. The U.S. Open is under wraps, and we have ourselves a new champion, JJ Spaun. He is in the history books from this day forward. We also have some news, new updates. We got PGA Tour has a new CEO, and the commissioner is out. We'll see what's going on over there. We also have a new YouTube golfer, somebody breaking onto the scene. I mean, I think there's a lot of new YouTube golfers, but we might have one we should be keeping our eye on, as well as the Travelers Championship coming up this weekend. But not to be forgotten, we have some incredible guests coming on the show today. I couldn't be more excited. Stick around to see what's going on right here on the Dan's Golf World Show. Well, gentlemen, it is good to be back from the U.S. Open. I'm not sure if my near emergency room sunburn has turned into somewhat of a tan yet, but I don't know. I feel like I'm glowing.
Sunscreen, dog. Sunscreen.
It doesn't look bad. It doesn't look bad.
Thank you. You got to balance the cameras to get the tone right, but it's working. It's fine.
I didn't know that you got a huge sunburn this week.
No. I don't know. Right. I don't even know what I'm talking about.
Gary looks like Larry the Lobster from SpongeBob.
Nice SpongeBob reference. Great way to start the show. Hey, guys, before we jump into too much, we've got some guests that are waiting right now. They're on hold. They're on standby. So I don't want to waste any more of their time before we welcome them on the show. I am so excited right now. I mean, this show just went through the roof. It just hit a 10. It hit a 10,000. We have such an incredible guest joining us on the show. She's a major champ, one of the most consistent players on tour, and currently gearing up for the KPMG Women's PGA Championship down in Frisco, Texas. I think it's a little warm down there. A lot going on this week, but yet still found time to join us here on the show. Please, let's give a nice, warm Dan's Golf World Show welcome to the one and only Brooke Henderson. Hey!
Let's go. All right.
Brooke, thank you so much for joining us. How are you doing down there in the Texas heat?
Oh, it's very hot, especially for a Canadian. It's very hot, but it's amazing. This event is so cool, and I'm so happy to be here.
Little different world from the cool Canadian air, I imagine. Well, I got to ask you a couple of questions. Fields Ranch East is pretty new to the circuit of pro golf. I'm just curious, your sort of early look at it. What are you seeing? What might cause some challenges for the players out there this week? What's your take on this course?
Yeah, I'm super excited to be playing here this week. I got to see all 18 holes this morning in my Pro-Am. Had a great time out there with some folks from Team Mobile. And the course is going to be challenging. The wind is up and it's blowing. So I definitely want to be practicing some low shots out on the range to get dialed in. But I think, the biggest thing is trying to hit a lot of fairways, trying to hit lots of greens, giving yourself those birdie looks, and trying to capitalize when you can. But I think, like any major championship, you're going to have all parts of your game working, physically and mentally.
I could only imagine. I mean, for all of us common folk, average hackers out on there, the golf course, I mean, I don't think any of us can even imagine the level of pressure and what those situations are like that the pros, like you guys all, deal with week in and week out. So here's a question I have for you. I get nervous even if I play through a group, if there's, 4 extra people watching me. So for you, do you have a process that sort of quiets that down, that gets you centered when, the pressure situations are coming upon you?
Yeah, it might sound pretty simple, but I just try to focus on exactly what I'm doing right in this moment. And then the next right thing, like the next thing that I'm going to have to do. And I just really try to keep those 2 things in focus. And that helps me kind of drown out a lot of noise, a lot of, other thoughts going on in my mind, and also things going on around the course that could be distractions or could take you out of that moment. And, I think I also try to go with the energy of the crowd. So if I make a couple birdies and the crowd is really happy and has nice energy, then I try to ride that a bit. But at the same time, just trying to stay in the mindset of what do I need to do right now and how can I do that? And then let's try to execute that.
I like that idea of you allow that outside energy in when it's positive, but otherwise it's just sort of like a solo headspace and kind of staying in your moment of this shot, the next shot, where I'm at right now. And I think that that's a great thing. I mean, so many times we could all get lost in our heads. We start imagining the gravity of any situation we could be in on the golf course, in life, and that can start to send you spiraling if you don't just say, I'm here, I'm now, let's make a good shot. I love that. The one thing that keeps coming up on the broadcast, and I can't help but think about, and as we just discussed, is this heat. They're talking about the mid 90s this week. I'm curious about your on-course game plan when it comes to heat. Are you bringing extra snacks? Are you hydrating? Are you trying to walk a little slower? Like, what do you do when you're playing, in this level of heat?
Yeah, just trying to drink a lot of water, a lot of electrolytes, trying to, pack those extra snacks and trying to make sure that you're eating them, even though sometimes with this heat you don't really feel like eating, but it's so important to keep your energy up. And my sister, she caddies for me, and I'm a little concerned for her, but it's so hot, but she always does amazing, and always is able to, be such a great caddy even in the heat. But she's really strong and really brave to be lugging that bag around this week.
It's going to be a little extra heavy with some additional water bottles in there, I imagine.
Yes, for sure.
So obviously this week we know T-Mobile is doing so much out there on the course, from sponsoring free coverage to bringing additional tech on the course. They're doing a ton, but also for yourself working with T-Mobile, could you talk a little bit about the importance of having those strong brand partners as you're out there on tour and traveling and doing what you do?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm so proud to be part of the T-Mobile family, and with Nelly, another ambassador, and just the amazing ambassadors that they have, and just all that T-Mobile is doing for the women's game and for women's golf is so important. They're taking what's being done on the men's side and bringing it to the women's side, and that's just a huge step forward for us. With all the technology, the Champcast presented by T-Mobile this week, with extra data and highlights, and as you mentioned, the coverage. Just anytime that we can be seen more and it can show off our skills a little bit more, I think is so good for the growing of the game. And so I'm just really proud and happy to be an ambassador for them. And I'm excited to see where the future takes us.
Well, I couldn't agree more. I do feel like we need more eyeballs on, the player that the women golfers in the professional golf space. I was just up at Erin Hills a couple of weeks ago watching, the U.S. Open up there. And it's so impressive and it's so fun and it's so exciting that it's inspiring. I mean, it doesn't matter where you are in the game. When you watch the best in the world do what they do best, you can't help but want to head out to the range, go book a tee time, do something and get out there and play some golf. But for us regular golfers, you see a lot of amateur golfers, hacks like myself and the rest of us. Is there any piece of advice that you would share with a regular golfer that maybe they could do to simply improve their game? Is there something you're seeing? You're like, hey, all you guys, maybe kind of adjust this and it could help a lot.
I'm not sure. I mean, golf is so hard.
Yeah.
There's so many things that go wrong that it's maybe hard, just like a general thing. But I mean, I feel like I just played a pro-am, and I feel like the number one thing, again, super simple and boring probably, but like just to have fun and enjoy it. It's such a
Yeah.
fun game to enjoy with friends. Food and drinks, and you're just spending time socializing outdoors. It's just a really good game for you. And I think if you can just find that great group of friends and go out and hit this little white ball around, it's pretty fun. And I think the only way to really get better is just to practice a lot,
Yeah.
but that's maybe not right for everybody.
Well, for yourself, I mean, you talk about the fun of it. I think you're right. As we do start to practice, we set all these expectations on ourselves. And sometimes the fun can drift because you hit a shot that wasn't what you drew up in your mind and all that. And then we get frustrated and we hit our club on the ground and all that. But for yourself, do you find it, do you still get to enjoy the fun of golf or pursuing it at, the highest level like you've been doing for quite some time? Do you still feel the fun of the game?
Yeah, again, you have to kind of remind yourself sometimes, when you're in the grind and you're working really hard and maybe you're not seeing the results that you would like to be seeing at that point in time. You're kind of like, oh yeah, I get to do this for a living. I get to, play golf and travel around the country and travel around the world and play amazing golf courses. And, sometimes you need to take that little step back and realize this is an amazing life and I'm really grateful for this. And then just try to really enjoy the moment. And I mentioned playing with friends, and I get to play with the best players in the world every single week, who I consider friends now. So it's a cool life, and I'm just trying to make the best of it.
That's so incredible. I mean, if we could all have one giant takeaway from this, guys, to remember, golf is fun. We play it because it's fun. Well, Brooke, thank you so much for joining us. I know you've got an action-packed week. You've got a major that you're prepping for right now. So thank you so much for carving out a few minutes for us. Have yourself an awesome weekend, and try and stay cool if possible out there.
I will try. Thank you so much for having me.
All right, good luck. Thank you. All right,
you.
Brooke Henderson, ladies and gentlemen.
Let's go.
What do you think? I mean, to have ourselves our first major winner like on the show, I don't know. This was a big moment. She was incredibly cool as a cucumber down there in the Texas heat.
Yeah.
It's got to be an interesting dynamic, though, going from like native homeland of Canada down to Frisco, Texas in June.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's huge. That's
It's a
huge.
big difference.
Hopefully she's got like those cooling towels they sell at the sports store you can wrap around your neck.
Hey, those are lifesavers.
Are they?
Yeah.
I don't have one. Maybe I should. I'm sweating bullets over
I
here.
grew up with those playing baseball.
So I was noticing the small things, but did you notice Brooke's watch?
I did not.
Yeah.
What was it?
It was like
I couldn't tell
$500,000.
what it was, but I was like, I mean, the watch looked nice though. It was kind of like that boyfriend style, a little bit bigger, but like it was pretty cool.
Wow.
It
Okay.
was like the Bubba Watson watch.
She was iced out.
Yeah.
Iced out.
Oh,
Yeah.
Well, I
iced
was-
out in Texas.
Minimum
I was so
100 grand.
like dialed into the interview in the moment. I didn't want to screw it up. I mean, here I've got, some top female golfers in the world here on the show. I'm going to have to go back and watch it in the replay. Well, guys, the show just keeps getting more and more exciting. The surprises, you never know what's going to happen on the Dan's Golf World Show. Right now, we are welcoming on world #1 golfer. We're welcoming on somebody with a swing that is smoother than Texas iced tea. Right, Gary? Come on.
absolutely. Texas
I wrote that. Thank you.
Tea.
And somehow in the middle of a major week, she's making time for us on the show. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for the one and only Nelly Korda. Come on.
Let's go, Nelly.
Lucky you guys.
You know what? This is such a treat, and I do know it's an incredibly busy week for you, so I do appreciate you taking a little bit of time. But right away, I got to go into it. When I think Texas in the summer, I think hot. How are you holding up down there? They're saying average of 95 degrees. Can you give us a little insight on the weather and what it's like out there?
Well, I'm a Florida girl, so I'm used to the heat. I'm used to the humidity, so it just feels like a walk in the park for me. No, it is hot. It is windy though as well, so I think it just makes it feel a little bit better with the wind. But yeah, I mean, playing in this type of weather for 4 days, this golf course too, it's going to test you mentally. So I think a lot of girls are going to be really exhausted after this week.
Do you find that it keeps you kind of loose with the warm weather and all that, or is it just depleting and sort of just draining everything you have as you're trying to keep up with it?
My body definitely loves warm weather. It's kind of like oil for the car. That's how I feel when I play
Yeah.
in warm weather. I don't tend to play a lot of golf in cold weather because my body just feels it a lot more. So this is typically what I like to play in. I mean, growing up in this weather too. I mean, I'm used to it.
One of the things we talk a lot about on the show is kind of keeping your composure. And so talking to obviously yourself, you've played in the biggest tournaments at the highest level. What would you share with somebody if you're in a moment where you feel like things aren't going well, the last shot wasn't the shot you wanted? How do you reframe? How do you reset? How do you get yourself back into this moment and to continue on and playing the best you can moving forward?
Well, thankfully, they don't film the walk between shots typically. And that's kind of where, you let your frustrations out. I've been with my caddy for almost 9 years now, so we know each other really well. I have all my wins with him. So getting to kind of vent to him is good. And at the end of the day, I mean, you never know what's going to happen in sports. I mean, it just takes one shot. Right. It's kind of cliche. It's like one shot, one opportunity. But at the end of the day, that's just how sports are. I mean, you just have to be positive. Even when things are not going well, you know that you can bounce back. Bounce back birds are the greatest thing. And that's just another
way to stay positive. You just know that you can bounce back. Like you've done this so many times, and it's a major championship, it's a tournament, but staying positive and patient is really important, especially with golf.
The bounce back bird. I know sometimes I'd be happy with a bounce back par. I don't know, but that's we're on a
Yeah.
different side of things here.
Listen, depending on how your round goes, bounce back pars are good too.
Yes. You talked a little bit about the wind out there, there at Fields Ranch East. This being a newer course, especially now getting to see some major championships there. What are you seeing out there in terms of the course layout? Are you seeing some things that might play tricky this weekend? What's your sort of take on the setup of this course?
Yeah, so I'll start out with like fairways. The golf course is in amazing condition. I mean, I think it's been open for what, 2 years. So just with that, that the greens are going to be firmer and faster. So on a downwind hole, I mean, it's going to be crucial to hit that green and to hit it just on the green because it's just going to shoot to the back. So you're going to have like a lot of 30, 40 footers depending on where the hole locations are going to be. And then hitting the fairway is going to be a really big key this week because it's Bermuda and it's not super long, but the ball just goes to the bottom. Like there's no fluff, right? Or there is a lot of fluff so that it doesn't like sit on anything. It just goes straight to the bottom. So if you have a longer club in, you'll see a lot of the girls pitching out. So I think just overall in general, I mean, this golf course, depending on the weather too, I think weather plays a really, really big role out here. It's going to play really difficult.
Mm. Well, there's on the fan side and the viewers, sometimes it's fun to see a little bit of punishment in, a major championship. So I'm not sure how you guys take that, but for us, we love to see a good test. So does it sound like that's what this is stacking up to be?
Oh, for sure. I mean, I love when a major championship not only tests your mental, but every part of your golf game. I mean, every part of it. You're definitely gonna have to stay very patient out here just because, I mean, that's just what a major is. And I think that's the best thing about playing in these is you never know what's gonna happen. I mean, last week at Oakmont,
Oof.
for JJ Spaun to come back, right? After the start that he had to come back and win, like you just never know. You can't count yourself out. And you can just tell like every part of your game is tested. I mean, you just never know. I mean, with the ending that Sam Burns had, which I know he got a little unfortunate with the water ball too, but it's that's what majors are. Like at the end of the day, like it just tests everything and you're beat by the end of the week. Like you're mentally so tired. All you want to do is just sit on a couch for a few days.
Watching the guys out at Oakmont, were you enjoying the carnage or at any point were you starting to sort of feel for them and what they were going through?
I loved it. No, I think
Let's
seeing
go.
guys struggle like that, the best players in the world struggle, and to see like even like the outbursts, I mean, that some of them had because they were just so mentally over it, I think is really fun. Like obviously, seeing a tournament where it's a birdie fest is a lot of fun, but also seeing a tournament like the US Women's Open, the US Open, KPMG, the PGA, where guys are struggling to make par, is a lot of fun to watch. Makes you appreciate the good golf, makes you appreciate the birdie fests.
Yeah, there's no joke to that. I mean, it's true because, and you also realize that, hey, sometimes somebody who's sort of casually playing safe, it turns into like the tortoise and the hare scenario. And it's like, man, there's a lot of ways to approach that. And it was beyond a wild Sunday. I mean, the leaderboard was all over the place. But I gotta, just one more question for you before I let you go. I know you've got an incredibly busy week, but I feel like T-Mobile has been doing a lot of really cool stuff in and around golf and in and around women's golf. Could you just talk a little bit about, what you appreciate about what they're bringing into the game?
Yeah, I mean, I'm so honored to be an ambassador for them. It's been 3.5 years now, and to see them elevate the women's game, to give us a stage at the end of the day and to invest in us. I'm just a super proud ambassador. And I can't wait to see where this partnership is going to go and to see where their dedication to the game is going to go as well. So I'm super excited to be on Team T-Mobile, and I can't wait to see what's next too.
Wow. Well, we can't wait to see what's next this weekend and to watch the golf get underway. So we're going to let you get out of here. We know you've got probably plenty to do, but thank you so much for taking a few minutes with us. Have yourself an incredible tournament and best of luck to you.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, Nelly Korda.
Nelly. Oh, yeah.
Excellence is in the room right now.
Excellence was zooming into the room. I don't know if Excellence is in here right now or not. Gary, is Excellence in
That
this room?
is so
There's
awesome
so much
to have
excellence
such.
around this room.
Thank you. Rich, what was that?
No, sorry. I was just so excited. It was so awesome to have such excellence back-to-back guests like that. It's just so crazy for the show.
What classy, just super talented females that just lead the way and inspire young women to like play golf and to be better versions of themselves.
Inspire everyone.
Oh, 100%.
I mean, because here's the thing, you know, I don't know, growing up playing baseball, somebody might say you swing like a girl. I would pray to swing
Like Nelly or
like
Brooke.
either one of these two ladies
Yeah.
because that is just, it's unbelievable. And like I said, you know, I was up at Erin Hills a few weeks ago for the U.S. Women's Open. And, you know, it's just, it is that high level superior golf is so fun and so exciting and so inspiring. And then we get out there and we go chunk it around, but it makes us believe that
Speak
it's
for yourself
possible.
over there.
You've chunked once,
A couple
you
times.
chunked twice.
Like 2 tree.
I don't know. All right, guys. Well, I feel like we gotta somehow bring ourselves back together here and have a show because I don't even know where we are anymore.
I'm on Xeon right now. I'm not even in the universe.
You know
after
what,
that.
Josh? I don't know what that means. What is Xeon?
Planet Xeon?
Yeah. Is that from a movie or a show?
You were like frat guys and you're like, you know.
Is that from a movie?
Wait, you say you're a frat guy. I'm the one that's been in college the latest.
Yeah, it doesn't mean you're not a class A dork with that stuff. Though.
So the U.S. Open at Oakmont, huh? Wow. What an absolute bloodbath out there. Guys, I will tell you, I was walking around. I was on course. I was on site. I was here. And I did that little kind of moment where you have to go check the rough, you know?
Yeah, 100%.
And I was like kind of, you know, swooshing around in it and like running my fingers through it and like whatever. I had to like touch and feel this stuff. It was brutal.
Had to get a full grip.
I had to get a full grip. I'm talking like, you
How
know,
many inches are we talking?
a lot. It was reported to be at 5.5. But to me, it felt like a generous 6, if you know what I mean. I don't know. It was brutal all the way around. And I felt like the name of the game out here at the US Open was don't miss the fairway or you're going to lose the whole tournament.
I think that's why JJ Spaun did so well.
He just kind of kept it in line, kept it in
Yeah.
gear, kept putting decent shots out there. And you get guys, you know, the longest hitters were not the ones who were succeeding the most in this. I mean, we look at like Bryson DeChambeau, one of the longest hitters in all of professional golf. That's his advantage. And he's talked about that when he was trying to build speed and build distance into his game. He said, if I can just get farther than everybody, then I can figure out how to recover from closer.
Yeah.
And he was like, so I'll keep my long game and my short game dialed. And, you know, here we go. And we could clearly see that approach is not the approach that wins at Oakmont. And I don't know. It was tough. I mean, to see the at the time, the current US Open winner to not make the cut.
Yeah.
Brutal.
Question, since we're looking at this photo.
Go ahead.
Is it
Church
true?
debunkers,
Is it
yes.
true that that's a football field long?
Yeah. You know what? And I actually went out there. You can only get so close. And you kind of could see here, like, this obviously isn't set up for the tournament, but on the far right side there, in the rough on the other side of the fairway, that's where like crowds can get to. And then on the far left side of the other fairway. So that's sort of in the middle in like a place you can't get right up to them.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you kind of go below the image, like maybe 30 or 40 yards back is the closest you can get to as a spectator. So that's where I got. I was kind of like near the very bottom of it, about 40 or 50 yards back. And when I'm standing there to look and see somebody, I mean, they looked like, I was like, wait a second. Why does that guy look like a Lego figure? He's so small. Like the perspective changes. You're like, this thing is so much bigger than I realized. And that's the point where you realize I would be in there for a month.
Hmm.
I would 100% send help because I am still in the church pew bunkers and we are rolling into July.
You would have to get a helicopter to save you.
Yeah, like
digging yourself a hole.
like a medevac situation out of the church pew bunkers. Rich, what do you got?
Well, I was just gonna say where the place that you were able to get up to, that sounds exactly like where I was set up last week for the podcast.
Yeah, you know what? I actually saw some of the rough still like dampened down.
Batted
So,
down a little.
Yeah. Saw, you had a couple Twinkie wrappers left behind. Nothing crazy, it's fine.
Hey,
You got a snack.
Cheetos.
Hey, it's like Brooke Henderson said, you got to stay hydrated. You got to stay fueled up and whatever that takes to do it. I tell you what, it was tough seeing Sam Burns make his way through Sunday. And, I feel like Sam Burns has had a wonderful career. He's been, obviously an important teammate in the Ryder Cup, all that stuff. And I felt like going into Sunday, kind of going to Betty by Saturday night, I was like, this could be fun. This could be our time to see Sam Burns finally get one. Throw a major championship up there on the trophy wall.
Nah.
And
Here comes JJ after shooting
With a 65-foot putt.
shooting 5 over on the front 9. I think they said in major championship history, there's been nobody who was 5 over on the front who came back to win.
No one shot 40.
No one?
So first player since 1913 to overcome a 40 on the front 9 to win the U.S. Open.
Wow. It's brutal. But again, it's like just hang in there and, you just stay in the moment, stay positive, and hit that next shot.
Winners never quit and quitters never win.
That's a great point.
The best part, though, is that Sunday. That
Which
Sunday,
part?
he got woken up at 3 a.m. to
Oh
go
my-
to Walgreens.
And I felt like that was one of the most dad Father's Day moments that could have possibly happened. Here he is the night before a major, you know what I mean? Trying to get a little bit of sleep from one of the most important tournaments of his life. And meanwhile, daughter's not feeling good. She's, blowing chunks all over the place. And wife is like, honey, you got to run to CVS. It's 3:00 in the morning. He's in the mix for the U.S. Open. But in classic dad fashion, what comes first? Family, taking care of the kids, the whole thing. I don't know. To me, that was the most Father's Day win that you could possibly draw up from any of these players out there.
Shout out to Victor for the assist and give him the little read before his big putt.
That
That had to play a part.
Big time.
I think that made all the. I mean, I'm not saying it made all the difference, but I think it made all the difference.
It helps a lot,
That's what I'm saying.
But still, make it a 60-footer, 5.
Well,
That's
and
the
he,
longest part of the tournament.
and he said in a post round interview sitting next to his giant trophy, he was like, he goes, I had the line. I knew where I needed to go from this side of the green. I already knew that. He goes, what I didn't know was the speed. It's been raining. How much of these slowed down? How much of the water's still sitting on top? How much is settled in? Whatever. He goes, so seeing Victor, he goes, he gave it a good whack. And he goes, and that showed me what it was going to take to get the ball to the hole. He goes, so I wasn't there to see his line. I was there to see his speed. And
he got the new short game coach, and when you make 137 feet worth of putts in the last 6 holes, incredible.
that's huge.
Incredible.
That is huge.
Oh, he almost put one in the hole on 17.
Well, apparently the new short game coach is,
No, it was off the tee.
off the tee.
Yeah, it's
Oh.
that short par 4.
Oh yeah. He drove the green,
Oh
rolled
my
it right
God,
past the
yeah,
cup. That's right.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And the one guy's just like, wow.
And talking about the putting and stuff like that, like that last segment after that big rain, everybody was putting short. It was
Yeah.
putt after putt after putt after putt. Just nobody could make it to the hole. Those greens slowed down so much.
And I can imagine that rough just becomes so brutal. I mean, like if you're out in your boots walking around in some wet, long grass and it's like wrapping around your feet and tying knots, like what that's doing to a club head, I can't even imagine. Like, oh,
And then think about it. So he's got to hit it 65 yards to or 65-foot putt to win it, right? Which how epic it is it to win a major
well, you got-
with the
you could
65-foot putt. That's crazy. But then also on top of that, he's got to hit it like maybe twice or 3 times as hard as normal. So like to able to keep your line with hitting it so hard, like I don't know. I think it makes the putt even more impressive.
did you guys see Terrell Hatton was in the middle of a press conference? He was just off, the flash interview. So as soon as they finish, they go sign their scorecard, then they jump in to do a flash interview. And Terrell Hatton was in the middle of a question, and then the crowd goes nuts. And he looks over, maybe there's like a monitor or something. He's like, "Oh, he hold it. Oh, right.
He just made it.
That's a heck of a way to win this thing." Like, it was just cool. Like, obviously he's upset that he was in the mix. This could have been his tournament. It wasn't. He's dealing with that. He's processing that. But then he looks over to see how it was won, and he still has to be like, "Well, that's pretty cool, though." Like, that's a fun way to win.
We didn't see a lot of rage out of him.
No.
We only a couple, but there was definitely a lot worse.
Here's the question. Was that like editor's choice, or was he a little more calmed down?
He said he loves playing hard courses like this because people get mad like him.
Oh, so that's it. By like contrast, we didn't realize he was this mad because, Rory was smashing tee markers and the whole thing.
I heard he got a fine for that.
Good.
Did he? I wonder how much.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
And also, who was the dude that was destroying the lockers?
Oh, Wyndham Clark.
What?
Yep.
Yeah.
Wyndham Clark.
Gentlemen,
That
this is a gentleman's
that was a
game.
little.
Look
Sorry,
at those
Gary.
things.
That was a little excessive, I think. I mean, because like
Unbelievable. Dude.
those have been there for like 100 years, and he's just in there just kicking them and throwing clubs at him. I don't know.
Well,
if you're a man and you don't have control of your mind and reactions like that, it's just kind of low class and kind of like
Gary,
weak-minded.
I've seen you snap one of Dan's clubs.
It was one to be funny. Two, it was my club, and you weren't even there.
well, he
Yeah.
like
Hey,
he's seen
don't
by the way we
confuse
painted
the
the
facts
picture.
with a good
I
story.
fixed like 4 ball marks every
Don't
hole.
confuse the
pick up
facts
the
with a good
trash.
story. He says.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think with all the rage that went on this week, I think it was a very bad look for world number 2.
Who's world number 2 right now? Rory? Yeah. Yeah.
I'm really starting not to like him.
Here's the thing. He made a point. He was like, why have you been skipping all these interviews? What's been going on? And he was like, to be honest, how did he say it? Like, I'm a little fed up with you guys. Or I'm
You
a little,
guys make me mad.
yeah. And he was like, and not necessarily you, like whoever's standing in front of me. He's like, but just in general, like all of this commentary that's coming back at me. And he's like, so I just don't want to do it. He's like, I'm just going to play my round and I'm going to go home. And he goes, and I feel like I've earned that right. And like, I will say, we probably bring Rory up like almost on a weekly basis.
Mhm.
We get pretty heavily opinionated on what we think about his actions and whether he did media and whether he didn't and why he skipped this tournament. And, when he drove off after the US Open and didn't congratulate Bryson. He's like, listen, you guys, if I give you every interview on earth and then I do one thing, you still crucify me. So why am I giving? What's the point? What am I getting in return? So I'll just do it when I feel like it. So you guys can crucify me like you would if I gave you what you wanted, or you'll crucify me if I don't. So at least I'm happy. I'm a little more comfortable. I get to get back on that jet and whiz back down to Jupiter, Florida and, kind of do my thing.
Can't be that comfortable and happy after making one cut after the Masters.
I think those are two separate conversations. I think you're confusing facts with a good story. I don't know. I just, at this point, I'm to the point where I'm like, I think everybody has the right to do whatever they want, minus kicking the doors into the lockers at Oakmont. Other than that, I feel like whatever. You know what? Just whatever. Rory doesn't want to do media anymore. Whatever. Rory does want to do it every once in a while. Whatever. Rory doesn't want to make cuts anymore. Whatever. I don't know. I feel like he sits in this realm that he's supposed to like upkeep at all times. And we have these expectations that we set on him that I don't know. I could imagine it gets pretty exhausting. And once you win the Grand Slam, who gives a shit at that point? I don't know.
Green jacket, red jacket, gold jacket.
Yeah.
Question.
Yeah.
Does he live in the States or does he live still overseas?
He has a gigantic home in Jupiter, Florida, but I don't know like where his like passport is out of, if it's like Ireland or United States. I don't know. Shane Lowry, same thing. Somebody asked him in an interview, they said, are your kids and all that, like, are they US citizens or Ireland? And he goes, no, we're Irish. We're all from Ireland. We just live and stay here, for golf. I don't know Rory's scenario though.
Because I know, what's the guy's name? He went to live, Ian Poulter.
Yeah.
he does the same thing.
Same thing. Yeah, you know. I don't think. Well, then like so Tommy Fleetwood, or as they're calling him online, Fairway Jesus, which I actually love that. He lives like in Dubai now. You know what I mean? Like, does it really matter where you live? I don't
Wait,
know.
he lives in Dubai?
Yeah. That's like his home base is Dubai.
Pretty epic place,
Pretty
though.
odd.
Yeah. Fairway Jesus. What a great name.
Fairway Jesus.
Yeah.
So I have the answer for Rory for you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, so he's a citizen of the United Kingdom holding a British passport,
Oh.
as he was born in Hollywood, County Down, Northern Ireland.
Oh.
So he's Irish as well. But I believe that that Lowry, I think he has an Irish passport.
Makes sense. I
What's
know.
the difference between
Oh. Hold on.
Hello, gentlemen. Gary, stop looking at me like that. You've got the eyes of a man who just saw Tiger's chiropractor on OnlyFans. Dan, sunburned like a rotisserie chicken,
Thank you.
mumbling about bunkers like you survived a Presbyterian exorcism. No souvenirs, just trauma.
Yeah.
Oakmont wasn't golf. It was biblical punishment with pin flags.
Fair.
JJ Spaun, a guy who couldn't qualify for anything 2 years ago, just stuck a 64-foot miracle putt to win the US Open. It rained. It stopped.
Just got sound
It
effects.
rained again. People were squeegeeing greens like they were cleaning up after Josh's wedding night. And I loved it. Golf should hurt. I want majors that ruin swings. I want tears in the rough. I want Dan to finally admit he has too many hats. You do, Dan. It's too much. You have a problem. It's time to stop. Spaun, that man was left for dead at the turn and
It's
came
true.
back swinging like a haunted lawnmower. Spaun didn't win. He survived. Oakmont performed an exorcism on the entire field, and I loved every soggy, miserable second. I drink it up like hot vodka out of a brown paper bag.
Oh my.
Gizmo out.
Wow.
Since when does he get the rights to use sound effects?
I listen, this guy has a
Listen.
lot of alone time up here. Who has any clue? I don't know.
At one moment during the interview with Brooke or Nelly, I forgot which one, she goes, "Hey, listen." I was like, "Dude, hold on."
Oh, nice.
I was like, "That's
Maybe she
beyond-
listens to the show.
I hope
You know
so.
what? They're definitely both longtime listeners.
100%.
Yeah, they're probably calling in on
They
a
were the
regular
number one
basis.
gifter.
They were back from
Nelly
the
was like talking.
corner
Yeah, hold
table
on, what?
days.
Yeah, okay.
Wow.
I want to know when Clarence is going to come back in the show.
I don't. You know what? He
you miss
hasn't
him?
had much to say lately, but maybe
Right?
it's time for him to do something.
He's so much nicer than Gizmo.
That's facts.
Um,
He's like other Josh compared to Josh.
You call me a douche?
do you guys want to hear something kind of random and fun?
Yeah,
Go on.
of course I do.
So I asked this AI song making app to make us a song about Oakmont.
Oh, Jesus.
We want to hear just a little bit of it.
Yeah.
Just like a tiny bit.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see what we got here. Hold
Oh,
on.
no.
Hold
I
on.
feel like this could be terrible.
It is. Ooh. We're good. Heavily country, apparently. Very fitting for Oakmont.
Showed up with swagger, thought I was slick.
Okay. Not bad.
First hole I snapped, hooked it into a ditch. Pulled out my wedge and a prayer to God. But Oakmont just laughed and slapped my rock.
Wow.
Oakmont me wrong, no grace.
Jesus.
Left me bent over with sand in my face.
Not listening.
3-putting like it paid my bills. My caddy cried and popped 2 pills.
Oh my god. Why is it a banger that's like
I don't know.
deeply intrusively awesome?
I'm afraid to keep listening. I don't know. Do you guys feel like this should be the new theme for Oakmont? Yeah?
No.
No?
No.
I
You don't think this is going to make the broadcast next year? I don't know. We could put a good word in. What was it on CBS? I don't know. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Done with that. That's enough. Yeah, well, I probably should have listened to that beforehand.
I've been a good idea.
You know.
Yeah.
Hey, are we allowed to talk about that? We're on live right now on TikTok.
Oh, we are on TikTok live right now.
We had Dylan Weber just join the live.
Hi, Dylan Weber. Thank you so much for joining us here on the show live. Hey, if you're on the live, feel free to throw some questions in. And
that's our little golfing buddy at the sweet spot.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right, good. Welcome. Good to be here. Glad to have you. Is that enough about Oakmont? Oh, before we get out of there, I brought some stuff back. Want to see?
Yeah.
Okay, it's not for you.
Why you?
Yeah.
Did you bring as much stuff as you wanted?
Rock? Just bring it. Come on. Who does that?
All right. Here's the first thing we're going to compare. Are we ready?
Was your haul? Oh, you don't have your heads. Oh, you got your ears in.
Yeah.
Is your haul larger or smaller than your haul from the Masters?
Nothing
comparable.
Nothing. I had to buy an additional suitcase to get back from the Masters, just so we're clear.
Jeez,
that's messed up.
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
You got a problem.
And I had.
Hey, it was a good cup, though. I agree.
I had to pay for like an additional bag. You know, like Southwest, you get 2 bags and your carry-on
Not
and
anymore.
your backpack. Well, okay, way back in April.
2 months ago.
Masters, a month ago.
I had to pay that extra fee to get like the 3rd checked bag. So I had 3 checked bags, a carry-on, and my backpack. Okay. We're going to talk media gifts. So not at every tournament, but at some, definitely, especially at the majors, you get media gifts. And so I thought we'd kind of take a look from the U.S. Women's Open versus the U.S. Men's Open. This is what I got at the U.S. Women's Open. Like a nice, like embroidered fleece blanket. Kind of nice.
Yeah.
I don't know. Gary, do you want to open it up and see what it looks like?
I feel like I'm going to end up using this thing.
I sure hope you don't. All right. Men's was a little different. You know, we got like a charging pack power bank that is inscribed with Oakmont on it. Kind of fun. And then also they give out these prints. And so I have the one from the last US Open. I have the one from this. Oh, that's like all shiny and nice.
What are you doing?
Wow.
Showcasing the blanket.
Yeah, and honestly, this is great because we can't even see you.
Facts.
Yeah, stay like that for the rest of the show.
Shut up.
That is. Oh, let me get it.
Shutter and Swing just joined the live.
That's it. Those are my media gifts. Kind of fun. Got some stuff.
What's that?
Hat. This? I showed this first. It's like a power bank. It's like for charging.
That's amazingly cool.
Like, you know, a little.
Hey, Josh, do you want to check it out and see what it looks like?
No, I'm okay. I'm gonna sit.
All right, just wondering.
Sit my booty butt back down right here.
All right, let's get this stuff out of here. It's enough. It's enough.
These are my gifts now?
No, not at all. Here's some other fun things.
Talking about Oakmont. Why? You got more gifts? Go ahead. What do you got?
Yeah, these are my favorite parts of the majors. So at the PGA Championship last month, they do these radios that hang around your neck, and you got little headphones, and you can listen to the broadcast the entire time, which I absolutely love. Like when you're out there on course, you're following some players, you know what I mean? You want to see Bryson out there hitting it 500 yards, but you don't know what's going on, you know, over on hole 2 or something like that. You can hear the broadcast. And then at the US Open,
when you're listening to the broadcast, is it like what you're hearing on CBS or whatever, and then you hear the commercial?
Sirius XM feed generally. At least that's what it was at the US Open, because you hear like their commercials every once in a while. And then the US Open is this kind where like you wear it around your neck, but then you kind of like loop the little guy over your ear and you kind of listen like that. You know what I mean? Yeah. So you got 2 different styles. This one, I don't know. I kind of like this because you can still kind of hear. These are like the earplug kinds. You kind of get lost in the world. It's okay. Both are fine. But I will say that is one of my favorite parts about the major championships is being able to tune in and listen while you're on course, while you're walking around. Super fun, super cool. Kind of one of my favorite parts. But yeah, that's the 2 different styles that you'll see out there on the course. Kind of fun. All right.
Out of all the, because you go almost every week to PGA, how often do they give you radios?
It's only at the majors. Okay. I've only had that at PGA Championships and US Opens only.
That's cool.
And TGL.
Oh yeah, TGL has it too, which is super fun. Of course, another press pass for my collection of glory over there. And then as usual, whenever I go, I don't buy a flag all the time, but I try and get them for all the majors I go to. I went maroon. Little different?
Yeah, I like it.
We okay with maroon? That's fine.
I like it.
Yeah, so we got whites, we got yellows, now we got maroons.
Some dark reds.
Sunday red.
I grabbed a couple hats.
It's not Sunday red.
You know.
Just let me have my moment.
Yeah, a couple rope hats. We fine? Sorry, Gizmo. I got more hats. What do you want me to do? Leave me alone. It's getting out of control. I'm sorry.
I feel like Clarence would
let me
be
see
okay
those.
with the amount of hats you have.
I think you're right. I think he understands
Man, that
that
one's sharp.
I have a passion for collecting
Right.
hat coverage or head coverage.
Clarence has a finer touch. He's more in touch with his artsy side, and I feel he's got a little bit better style.
I think that's about it for the U.S. Open for me. Did we cover it all, guys? I mean, I know there's so much more we could still talk about,
Yeah,
but we got a show.
I mean,
There's
one other
always
thing
next-
though, like
next
how about
episode,
the ref's call when he was hitting out of the water?
Oh, on Sam Burns. And it
Yes.
was, I think the wild part about that too is he kept swinging his club and splashing it. Like,
Right.
He was just like
He wasn't
showing.
divoting, just splashing water.
Can I give my sort of controversial take on that?
Yes.
Okay.
Go on.
Here's a theory. Let's put our tinfoil hats on here for a second. And, what I believe was going on, possibly maybe, again, tinfoil hat moment, is that by recognizing that he was in the middle of the fairway and hitting out of water would sort of be admitting that the course is flooded out right now. And that potentially we might not be, there's a chance we shouldn't be playing on this course right now. If we're in the fairway and we're hitting out of direct water and we're giving him those calls, then we're going to have to start running around and giving everybody these calls because the amount of rain that has come in is actually kind of become a problem. And unfortunately for you, Sam Burns, that if we make this call, we might be sort of opening the quote unquote floodgates, if you will, of calls that might need to be made. And we got to keep this tournament underway because it's one thing to go into a playoff on Monday. It's another thing for the top leaders of this entire tournament to still have 8, 9, whatever holes left. And that changes the dynamic of everything. So I don't know. Was he sort of like the unfortunate sacrifice that had to be made so things could press on? Or was it just a legitimate call? They're like, there is a little bit of water there, but it sort of happens and we're going to make a fair call.
I think
don't
he
know.
got robbed, but did you also see Adam Scott say like, yeah, these were almost unplayable?
Did he?
Yeah, he goes, my back nine after the break, especially the final holes, they were borderline unplayable.
Wow. I don't know, Rich, what's your take on this tinfoil hat theory?
So I love a good conspiracy theory.
Oh, yeah.
Love it. I do think there's a lot of credence to that. But the reason that I think they still should have made the call for him in that circumstance, because if you looked at the way the fairway undulated,
Thank you.
was, like there was a dip and you could see there was a river flowing through that little part of the fairway.
Yeah, like from at home, you could see it.
Right. I mean, I think if he was 5 feet forward or 5 feet back, he wasn't in water. It was just that little part of the fairway. So I don't know. I hear what you're saying. I definitely don't think, I think it was the best decision to keep that playing because when you had about 10 players, that were all playing the back nine. They all needed to finish in those conditions in order to make it fair at all. Because if they pushed it to tomorrow, now they're playing on a perfectly dry course. Like that's not fair at all. So I love that they kept pushing it and playing it, but I also think they should have let him get a drop.
I think you're right. I mean, I would have loved to have seen a Sam Burns win. You know what I mean? Yeah. I think, but either way, putting our sort of overall golf fan hats on, I think it being a U.S. winner is good for the Ryder Cup. Good momentum. I felt like it could have been an ugly year, starting with Rory at the Masters. And then if it would have just kind of trickled down from there and we get a bunch of European Ryder Cup team winners, that would have been a little defeating going into the fall here. So now to have Scotty jump on and grab that PGA championship for us. Now we got JJ Spaun, or if it would have been Sam Burns, fine with either, taking that U.S. Open for us. Now, even if we don't have a U.S. winner going into the British Open. Thank you.
The Open.
Thank you. I still feel like we can head into the fall with quite a bit of confidence. However, I would like to see a little 3 sweep for U.S. winners as we do go into our final major of the season. It's just me. It's a personal thing. I'd like to see it. But even if it doesn't happen, I still feel like we're in a very strong position to go in confidently into the Ryder Cup at Bethpage Black come September.
Is it a little fun going to a Ryder Cup? Or like a lot of fun?
To me, is the most fun
ever
tournament to go to. I think it's the most fun.
Ole, ole, ole. USA, USA.
What was also crazy too about with the Open that we were just watching, like at Oakmont, we had Rahm was in the clubhouse at +4.
Yeah.
And he was leading the clubhouse.
Yeah.
With +4.
Yeah.
Like that's insane. And
it was becoming like a legitimate score.
Correct. And he was leading the clubhouse for like over an hour. It was almost like 2 hours that he was in the clubhouse. They were even commenting on like, yeah, Rahm can't go because we got 15 players out there. He's +4 in the clubhouse and they're sitting at even right now.
Who is the closest they guessed? Because I said -3 was going to be like winner.
I didn't take a guess.
Well, we did make a group prediction, and it was, do you think it's going to finish under par or over par?
I said under.
And the group consensus was under, minus myself. I said over, and I would have been 100% correct until JJ Spaun drained a 60-plus footer from
to make Gary right
across the entire universe to drill this putt to make me factually incorrect.
One of the biggest moments, too, in history.
However, man, is that an unfair loss for myself because he was the only guy on the planet who was under par. But the other thing I thought was really interesting about it was usually in championship tournament play, the more time players have, the lower the score can get. And you'll look at somebody who might be sitting, at the, the number one position, but they're back in the clubhouse. It's like, yeah, but guys, I mean, come on, Scotty's got 5 holes left. Like there's no way of knowing if that's going to hold up. Whereas in this scenario, it was like the sooner you can get off the course, the better, because you have more holes for this to go bad. And that's what we were seeing. I mean, over the weekend, we had guys 3, 4 under, all of that. Even like on Sunday, we were seeing that. And by the end, aside from JJ Spaun's final miraculous putt, there was nobody under. So, what an interesting dynamic change that from what you normally see. I mean, we even look back at like Valhalla last year when it was Xander Schauffele, thank you, coming down the home stretch, Bryson over staying warm. And he's like, another birdie, another one under, another one, going from like 17 under, 18 under, 19 under. These guys out there, it's like, oh, he's even, and now he's +3. Like, just what a different universe. But I will say, I do appreciate that Nelly Korda also likes to see some carnage.
Yeah.
She believes that majors should be a whole and complete test. And, coming from somebody who's sort of
amazing,
but also like industry insider, somebody who is on that other side of the ropes than the rest of us, to feel that same way, I appreciate it. I think it's fun. And I don't know. Here's what I will be curious to see. And this is, we're never going to remember this conversation when it happens. But when the US Open goes back to Oakmont, do we think they turn the dial up even more?
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you think it stays the same, like they found the pinnacle of test? Or do they hear some of the feedback and go, okay, if this is supposed to be a complete test, it should test your long game, your short game, your accuracy, your putting, everything, and your recovery from bad shots, including the rough. And Oakmont challenges you on all of those aspects. But one of the aspects, which is your recovery from the rough, they took that dial and cranked it up until the knob broke off. What I will be curious to see when it comes back, I think in like 5 years, when the US Open heads back to Oakmont, will they keep the difficulty dial on the rough completely maxed out again? Will it get even worse? Or will they pull that back a touch to make it a more well-rounded complete test of these players? I don't know.
Well, if it's not rainy, isn't it super fast there?
Yes.
Does that make it even harder?
Yeah. Yeah, the greens are unbelievable. Like I posted a video of it, but these guys were mowing just one of the practice greens, and they were doing like a 4-way cross cut. So that way every inch of the green was cut in every single direction. You know, it's just like that there wouldn't be a single blade of grass too long to slow a ball down.
Yeah, that's rough.
The rough was rough. The greens were rough. The weather was rough. The call for Sam Burns was rough. There's a lot of roughness.
JJ was smooth as could be.
He was smooth as Spaun.
When you're saying that they turned it up to make it even broken, see, I just
Broke
think
the knob
that's
off.
the test. Yeah, you broke the knob off. Like I mean, so 2005, the winner, -1. That's not broken. He completed the course at -1. You look at the time they did it before was Dustin Johnson in 2016. He was -4, right? That's pretty close in scores. You're talking about over 4 days of playing. You were talking about a 3-stroke difference, right? Then you look at 07, that was +5. So like the knob is not broken at all. Like if anything, let's finish it out with the pluses.
You know how happy I'd be to shoot +5 there, like in
At
a day,
Oakmont.
let alone 4.
Oh my God. Yeah. In one day, in one round, +4 would be lights out.
That'd be like +40 if I was lucky.
I mean, what's also crazy to think about with these pros, though. So, do we think golfers as a whole, 2007 versus 2025, are golfers better? Was the golf course more difficult this year, or was it more difficult in 7 when they shot a +5?
I think, like in every sport, the evolution around the sport causes everybody to be better at that sport at that time. So, for example, golf club technology is better than it's ever been in history. Golf ball technology is better than it's ever been in history. Training, what these guys are doing with like science and like movement and all of this stuff that they're doing physically, just everything about it, so all of that goes into what these guys do and how they train and how they weight lift and mobility and all this stuff, to me, creates an environment where at any given time, they are playing better than they had at any other era. But I think at the same time, you look at guys and it's like, wait, you were using like wound balls and like wood clubs and you shot what there? But at the same time, like if you look at old pictures of Augusta National and compared to what it is now, I think it's a more difficult course now than it was then. So we look at scores that it's like, wow, this is similar to what, Arnold Palmer shot in this whatever year. It was lesser of a course, but also with lesser of equipment and in a lesser of an era. So it was still equally as astounding at the time.
So in 10 years, that means Oakmont is going to have to turn the dial up even more on the difficulty so that way they keep up with the clubs.
Have you ever seen those golf clubs that like you put behind the ball and it fires something and just launches the ball?
Yes, like
that's
22 cartridges.
It's like the rifle driver.
At that point, like that's all you're going to need is some sort of like projectile power to get the ball out of the rough, or just
you just aim your club left and right. You just get it set up.
I would love to use one of those.
That'd be great.
Yeah, no.
Speaking of changing the rules, PGA Tour's making some big changes. We've just seen that they announced the brand new CEO of the PGA Tour, which is different than the commissioner. However, shortly after it was announced that the commissioner, Jay Monahan, will be stepping down at the end of 2026. I am so curious as to what's going on back there at the sausage making factory, where the behind the scenes and what goes into all this stuff. There are a lot of fans and consumers that have not been happy. I don't know. I would love to know more what's going on behind the scenes.
And he used to be involved with the NFL, right?
Not Jay Monahan, of course, but the new CEO,
No.
yes. He was
Right.
the number 2 guy, pretty much in the NFL organization. And he was also seen to be potentially like the next in line to, who runs the whole NFL? What's his name?
Roger Goodell.
Roger Goodell. He's supposed to be, he was always talked about the guy that if Roger Goodell ever, moves on and steps down and retires, whatever, that he would be the next in line. And so it is kind of interesting that whoever they've been sort of cultivating over all these years is out.
The thing that I'm super excited about, NFL does a great job at expansion. They've got all of those overseas where they're playing in Germany and they're playing in London and they're playing overseas a bunch. I think they played down in Brazil this year. They're playing all over. Hopefully he can be the catalyst to bring Live in the fold and make this whole thing work.
Well, there's a couple interesting parts about that, and it is specifically noted in the details about Brian Rolap is his name, the new CEO of the PGA Tour. He was the big push behind the NFL to get on Amazon, YouTube, and the entire digital innovation for the NFL. So, I mean, he's obviously somebody who's a visionary and evolving a sport with the modern times. But here is the other interesting piece. The Live Golf recently brought on a new CEO as well. Greg Norman had to step aside. His name's Scott O'Neill, if I'm correct on that. Trying to remember, it's not in my notes. Brian Rolap has connections with Scott O'Neill. They both went to school together. They were in the same graduating class. They are board members for similar organizations.
They're merging.
There is a lot of behind the scenes connections between these two. I find it very interesting that these two organizations that have been trying to broker this deal for many years now, that we've been stuck in a framework agreement, we've been stuck in a deal in whatever, in the dumps, that now we have two guys with very strong personal connections to each other running both of these organizations, as we are potentially, hopefully, finally getting somewhere from this never-ending talk of PGA Tour, Live, one organization, keep both, get rid of one, keep the other. I don't know. Who knows? But we've got one of the top innovators from the NFL. We've got some major firepower over on Live, and these guys are hanging out, sipping iced teas, having themselves a good time, and this could be a wild prediction, or maybe it's written plain as could be. I think we might see some progress in terms of the PGA Tour Live Golf deal that has been so stale that you wouldn't use the bread for croutons anymore, if you know what I mean.
I think that's awesome. I mean, because when Brian's bringing in the new era, he gets the new thing. He gets worldwide coverage. He gets things like that. And then you find out that they're friends.
Oh yeah,
this is great.
They probably have like a whole handshake when they see each other. You know what I mean? That's a whole thing. These guys just dapping it up.
I cannot tell you how excited I am. I just want this to happen.
I do think it's interesting when somebody retires for like a year and a half straight, though. I mean, nothing wrong with it. It's great. Have a great time. I'm sure there's a big transition period. Like this guy said, he goes, I got a ton to learn about golf. Like I love and respect the history of the sport, so much about it, but I have a lot to learn. And so maybe that's what that sort of 18-month period is really for, to help the transition process. But at the same time, it's also weird to be like, ladies and gentlemen, I'm totally stepping down. My time here is done. I'm just going to head right out of here in like a year and a half. And right. then I'll be all done. I'll grab my things. I don't know. What if we'll have like a big send-off party, a big Monahan goodbye? I don't know. Who knows? I don't know.
Travelers.
US Open. Oh, Travelers. We got to get into what's coming up next week. What do we got? And what happened last week? Do we have results?
Yeah, I was going to go through it.
You know, Josh, take us through some results.
All right. So
I'm going to sit back and
for the
chug some water.
Travelers Championship, we go off our picks from the last week to figure out who we picked. Well, we suck.
Thank you.
Rich picked Justin Thomas at plus 4,000. He got cut and shot plus 12. Dan picked.
I picked JT. I thought he went with Keegan.
No, you said JT.
We got to check the tapes on that. Did I say
have it
JT?
written down on my sheet? You picked JT.
Yeah.
I almost thought I picked Keegan. All right.
Well, you picked like one or two that weren't even in.
Yeah.
And then you kind of just defaulted to someone you could think of, I think.
Next person, Dan.
Thank you.
Picked his boy Bryson DeChambeau at plus 900. He
should have been a lock.
He got cut with a plus 10. Then me, I was so close to making the cut and getting some points on my name. I picked Phil Mickelson at 30,000.
Dude, that'd have been huge for the spread.
Yeah, it would have been. He missed a cut with a +8, and then Gary is the lone person who actually got some points this week with Scotty Scheffler only at +275, so only got 1,100 points because he plays T7 with a +4.
Nice, Gary.
So the running totals.
It's good to have you on the board.
It goes Dan with 68,200 points, Rich with 19,200 points, Gary with 4,750 points, and me with 3,020 points. Pick order is Rich, Dan, me, Gary.
After you pick actual winners too, you get the lowest amount of points.
What?
I picked actual winners of tournaments, and you get less points.
Rich, your first pick.
Yeah,
Every time I say
that's the
something,
whole
you know.
point, Gary. The whole point is
No, I
that
get it.
everybody just
No, I
doesn't pick
100%
the
get that.
favorite every time.
100%.
All right, whose pick?
It's Rich's.
All right. Go
All
ahead,
right,
Rich.
who do I like here? Do I want to put up points? Do I want to kind of go with a?
Hey, remember it's no cut.
Well, how about this? We'll run you through this real
Wait,
quick.
it's a no cut league.
We're going to be playing at the TPC River Highlands in Cromwell, Connecticut. It is a signature event, which means no cut. It is built in with a $20 million purse. $3.6 million go to the winner. And an insane stat: U.S. Open winner JJ Spaun took home $4.3 million.
So it wasn't that far off.
Yeah, not that far off. Big payday. Even though he had to
So
run
like
to
if I just
CVS.
pick Nick Dunlap, I get 60,000 points.
50.
Oh.
Updated. You need to update your.
This is like
numbers.
whose line is it?
Hey,
Anyways,
we
The
don't
points
Yeah.
we
matter.
don't keep them up to date. I put them
This-
in the
this-
day that they're in.
This game begins to fall apart when there's a no cut.
That is correct. I think
All right.
I think we should all come up with a rule right
Top
now that
half.
it's like
Top half.
top half the field.
Yeah, there's 72. So what is that? 36. You have to be 36 in ties or higher to get points.
All right, so we have our own cut line.
Yeah.
All right, that's fair.
I
All
think
right.
that's totally fair.
Yeah.
It keeps the spirit because we're trying to pick people that are going to be up.
You know what?
You know.
Golf tournaments need to have a cut. And if they don't have one, we're going to give them one.
We'll just make one up.
You know what? I'm going to text Jay Monahan about that idea. Or
Nah,
maybe
check the
Brian
new dude.
He's
Rolap.
gonna text you back saying, "I don't
Text the
care.
new
I'm
guy.
gone soon."
Yeah, I'm texting Brian Rolap.
So who you got, Rich?
All right, let's see here. I am. See, I'm kind of I don't know. Does anybody know how this course plays?
Hard.
It's a TPC
Like,
course.
it's not Oakmont hard.
No, nothing on earth is Oakmont hard. Ask Dustin Johnson.
But I mean, like, is it a long course? Is it a short course?
I have no
Like,
clue.
You know what? I have zero clue.
all
I don't
right,
even know who won in the past.
Why does it take so hard for you to pick someone?
Why does it take so hard for you to pick someone?
Well, Josh, I don't think I'm going to take advice from you in last place with 3,000 points. So
Pick your guy.
I'm going to go with Colin Morikawa.
Oh, nice
Oh.
pick. Solid.
Really? All right.
All right, Dan, you're up.
I'll go with Fairway Jesus. I'm taking Tommy Fleetwood.
Oh, dude, I was gonna take him because you know why?
Why?
Because he's the next up on Grant Horvath's YouTube channel.
Is he really?
They just
You
posted
were
a video.
keeping that from us?
Yeah.
You know what? He did that on purpose.
Yeah,
He sure
yeah.
did.
I had it in the run of show, but someone went over it.
Oh,
So
you know what? I've been skipping around so much.
So,
I don't even know what's going
that
on.
is terrible. I can't believe you did that to me.
You're welcome.
He also is that YouTuber you said that's got a new YouTube channel. Yeah.
Tommy Fleetwood's in.
Yep.
I
He's got a
believe-
YouTube channel.
He's got his own YouTube channel?
Yeah, that's what you said in the
No, I was
cold
going to let
open.
you tell that part of the story. I didn't even read that part yet.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
I believe Grant Horvath
Nice.
changed to a smaller putter with Tommy Fleetwood in the video,
All right.
and he just made just go ahead. I'll just.
Sorry, I'm making my pick.
Wait. He switched putters?
Yeah.
Grant Horvath, he's not using the lab or is he
No,
using a
he's
different
using a
lab?
lab.
I just saw a video with Grant just making everything.
He wasn't switching putters. He switched balls. He doesn't use the line anymore.
And maybe if I finish talking, you'll know. So
I can't wait for the
Get
fist fight
shut
after the
down.
show.
Like the whole time, just shut down. So But yeah, and Tommy was like, dude, he's just making everything. And he's like, this is incredible. And he's just quietly not saying anything. He's like, and he's quiet. He's just like stealthily taking this like by storm.
I can't wait to watch that because, you know, Grant has this very like calm, happy, kind demeanor. And so does Tommy Fleetwood. Like, are they going to be like out nicing each other?
Those
no,
be
you
a
go first. No,
perfect
you go
two-man
first.
scramble.
That video is great. It was a great video.
I can't wait.
So, I am going with the hot hands, the hot club, the hot stick, Ben Griffin.
Oh, dude, I tell you what, he was a fan favorite out there at Oakmont. I mean, it is so funny. Like the amount he's one of the guys now. He is totally one of the guys. Crowds following him. People, let's go, Ben. Come on. You're like, you know, someone was like, hey, will you sign my sunglasses? And he's just like smiles and points. That's great.
All right, Gary, who you get?
Victor Hovland.
Okay, that's a good pick.
Ooh. I'm changing my pick. I want Victor Hovland.
Then I want Tommy.
No, you can't. I want both. I want what everybody is. I don't know.
Both Victor and Tommy are plus 3,000.
All right.
All right, Rich. Now remember, you picked Colin Morikawa this week.
Yeah, don't try and, you know, change it here in the last, you know, whatever. Tommy Fleetwood. So he's got his own channel. He's not just guest starring on channels. He went on to whatever, Google, and clicked create new channel on his laptop. And he's got his own, like had to upload his own profile picture and everything.
So his first video was uploaded 9 days ago.
Wow.
Yeah, it was like a lead up to the Masters, like how he works out, what he does for like preparation. That's the word.
Well, here's what I'll say. I'm definitely going to like and subscribe, if you know what I mean.
Yep.
Just as everybody at home should also do for the show. Oh, yeah. All right, guys, that's it, right? I think we got to get out of here. I need to go calm down for a little bit. Over here hanging out, talking to Brooke Henderson, Nelly Korda. Yeah,
Gary.
Gary, everybody. You know, it's fine. It's great. That's it.
I'm cool done. Is that I think the show just took a huge step forward having both of those on.
Oh, dude, it went light years forward. I mean, beyond
the
a step.
Shorts are going to be great.
Dude, the longs are going to be great.
The longs are great too.
You're wearing great shorts.
So are the mediums.
They're so dirty.
Thank you. All right, guys. Well, that is it for this week's show on the Dan's Golf World Show. Thanks so much for joining us. And like and subscribe to Tommy Fleetwood's channel and ours, because this is brought to you by the one and only Sports Illustrated.